All right, man, we back. Mercy Sports Talk. Let's talk about two receivers that's out there that could be available for the Detroit Lions, and that's Odell Beckham and Allen Robinson. Let's get into it. Both of them want out of their respective teams, and both the Chicago Bears or the Cleveland Browns could be shopping them. So don't forget, check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Want to make a donation, just share the video, but let's get into it. And I don't think it's a bad idea to look at one of those. I'm not a big Odell fan, but I put it to you like this. If you don't plan on paying Kenny Golladay, Odell Beckham is already paid. All right, so you just, basically taking on his contract. You don't have to renegotiate, negotiate nothing. Could Odell Beckham had already been a Detroit Lions? Yeah, they took Eric Ebron over, Odell and Aaron Donald, who went, I think, briefly right after Eric Ebron was drafted. Now, I do have an issue with Odell Beckham. He's a prima donna. He's all those things. But the one thing about it is he will be happy because he'll be getting his stats in Detroit. Matthew Stafford will be getting him the ball 24/7, 365. All right. Now, could you tell Cleveland and Kenny Golladay for Odell Beckham trade? Yeah, you could tell them straight up, and maybe they actually put some compensation, but I wouldn't. It would have to be a straight up trade, and only trade Kenny Golladay if the Lions don't want to pay him. And obviously, before you make that trade with the Browns, Cleveland would have to negotiate a new contract with Kenny Golladay and see what he would want to stay there. So, I'm not with getting rid of Kenny Golladay for Odell, but I'm just saying you don't want to let Kenny Golladay walk for nothing. Well, CJ, they can franchise tag him. Yeah, they could franchise tag him for 2 years. Then eventually you got to get rid of him. So why not pay somebody that's already established, already got a contract, and you can do a lot of different things. You got him under contract for the next few years. That's all I'm saying. Why have an unhappy camper, Kenny Golladay, keep playing on the franchise tag when anybody else that wasn't happy with the franchise, they're trading him. Darius Slay, Quadre Diggs. They tried to trade Marvin Jones when he was studying up in camp. And he was caught part of that team saying he didn't like Patricia was working them too hard. So that's just something to think about. I mean, Odell could bring versatility. He could play the slide. He could play outside. I mean, he can get down the field. He ain't been really having his numbers like he lit up before, but that's because Baker can't get on the ball. And even Stefanski, and that's Ed's son, Kevin Stefanski, that's the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns. He can't do nothing. He ain't shit as a coach neither. But like I said before, it could be a good move for Detroit to bring in Odell if you don't plan on playing Kenny Golladay. Obviously Golladay has to get healthy. He didn't practice today before you can move him. So that's just something to think about. I mean, Odell can be a head case, and Kenny Golladay is the total opposite. He go out there, do his job. He go out there and don't cry and don't complain about getting the ball. And it's a blessing that the Lions have been blessed with three really good players in Calvin, Barry Sanders, and Kenny Golladay, who seem to be good off the field, seem to have a level head, seem don't be prima donnas. They can have one ball or no ball thrown to them, and if they win, they happy. They ain't screaming at Stafford. They ain't crying like T.O. and Chad, I want the ball. They're not putting no additional pressure on Stafford, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people sour on Stafford, because Stafford ain't really never had to deal with that type of quarterback. I mean, receiver or pass catcher, the Lions have really surrounded him around some really, really level-headed guys. If he played with T.O., he'd be cussing him out, Randy Moss, give him some hell, you know what I'm saying? And, I haven't really remembered too many players lighting fires up under Stafford. Maybe because they've historically thrown the ball a ton, since Stafford was drafted in 2009. They've thrown the ball a ton. So how you can't be happy in Detroit? Everybody get balls thrown to them. They just don't like to run the ball. They got a dome mentality, but Odell can bring some juice here, but like I said before, the Lions have had histories of with Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. If you don't want to be here, you can leave. They even forced Glover Quinn to leave. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't play him. You know what I'm saying? And he had too much, clout on the team. It wasn't that he wasn't a good fit for Patricia's system. He just had too much control, just like Quadri and Darius Slow. It's like he want to have one voice in the locker room. And that's him. He wanted to be the leader. He wanted to be the captain. He don't want nobody to think or have any individuality or creative thinking. Matt Patricia wanted to think everything. He don't want to have no input from the players. He don't want none of that. He want to be able to do your job, shut the fuck up, and do what I say do. And that's the problem. A lot of these dudes are their own man. A lot of these dudes came here in Caldwell and Terrell Austin listened to what they had to say. And that's just the issue behind it, though. But I mean, at the end of the day, what about Allen Robinson? With the Bears trade him in the division? I think not, because the Packers can use him for sure. And after Kirk Cousins debuting with Green Bay, they can use another receiver right now. But I mean, Robinson is a Detroit guy. I'm pretty sure he got a level head on his head. He can play at home and not have to worry about the bullshit that come with it or get into trouble. But he's a really good player. I mean, could you see him playing in Detroit? Yeah. Could you see them doing the Kenny Golladay and Chicago for Allen Robinson flip? I mean, then again, Detroit once again will have to negotiate a contract with Allen Robinson. So if they don't want to play Golladay, why would they want to play Robinson? They right around the same level as a receiver. I think Golladay just might be a little bit younger. He is from Chicago, so he wouldn't mind probably going play back home. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to negotiate a contract with Robinson. Now, if Robinson wants less than what Golladay got, then it's easy to do. But, I just don't see a situation where, you got a guy that won a contract, you don't want to pay your guy. What type of message does that send to the locker room? You want to pay Allen Robinson to come in, but don't want to pay Golladay. That's another thing. They paid Coleman, Collins, Flowers. They paid all these guys before they paid Darius Slay and some of the other guys and Kenny Golladay. You know what I'm saying? So, that sends a bad message. Now, Robinson would be nice here. He give the same things that Kenny Golladay give you. I think Golladay is just a little bit better of a player, in my opinion, at this point. But could you, add Odell and Allen Robinson with Kenny Golladay? Is the question. I think you could. I don't think they bring back Marvin Jones next year to begin with. So that's just something to think about. So because they flip Marvin Jones and probably some draft compensation to bring Odell here and put Odell with Kenny Golladay or Allen with Kenny Golladay. I think it's more likely Odell because Odell already have a contract. But I also think it's less likely with Allen Robinson either way because Robinson wants to get, neck hurting. Robinson wants to get paid expeditiously, and I'm not sure that the Lions can pay Robinson and pay Kenny Golladay at the same time. And, don't forget they got to get a quarterback as well. And when I say quarterback, that means basically Matthew Stafford has no more guaranteed money after this year. So they got to make a decision whether he don't want to be playing with non-guaranteed money. So at that point, you might have to re-sign Stafford or look for a new quarterback, which that should be no problem if you find a new quarterback next year. The rookie pay scale stop that from happening. So like I said before, it'll be interesting to see how they move forward. With this, but I think Allen Robinson, I just don't see unless you can get him under a cheap deal or a good deal where you can bring him here and play him with Golladay, plus he in the division. Chicago will probably run the check up on you to get that guy. And if they don't want to play, Golladay, I could see a swap for Odell Beckham, a guy that's already, fit, it's already established financially, like that way. But I don't think they want to let Golladay play on a franchise tag, especially with the money going up with, DeAndre getting $27 million per year, Julio getting the bag, Amari getting the bag, Cooper getting the bag, so not sure what the franchise tag will be next season for a receiver. If somebody else get paid and break the bank, then it's probably going to be $18 million a year, $20 million a year, and I don't think they want him to play on that one-year deal. So instead of losing them for nothing, lose them for something, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, that is what it is. Let me know what you guys think about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate the love, support. Want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, PayPal in the description. Best way to donate, share the video. Don't forget, I had a Packer prediction up tomorrow. Tonight around 10 or 11, maybe even earlier. Appreciate the love, support. We go.